Pro timeline. Okay, so let's Command and Tab into Premiere Pro, and what I'm going to do first before I bring in my lower third element is I think I'm going to bring in a clip to work with. So what I'm going to do is right click on my project anywhere, it doesn't really matter where, and I'm simply going to say Import. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to navigate to, I don't think I'm going to choose boxing, maybe we'll choose something different this time. Why don't we choose, how about wakeboarding? Why not? And let's just preview our clips here by simply hitting the space bar. Okay, cool. I think this is a good shot to use. So what we're going to do is we'll just select this shot from Digital Juice's Video Tracks HD. It's a bit of a longer shot as well. You'll see that if I just bring everything over a little bit here, it's about 11 seconds long. And what I'm going to do now is simply right click and say Import. And what we're going to do is navigate to the desktop. We're going to come to our shadowing technique, lower third. I'm not going to go to the alias. I'm just going to go right to the actual project just like such. And I'm going to simply say Open. Now Premiere is going to prompt me and say, well, do you want to import the entire project or do you want to import selected sequences? Now in this case, we'll just import the entire project. I'll simply say OK. And you'll see that all of a sudden now I'm being told all of this media is offline. What do I do? Well, don't worry, have no fear. All we're going to do is simply come right down here to Locate, and you'll see that I'm in the folder on the desktop. I'm just going to come to Full HD, and the element we're looking for is the Shadowing Technique entry, which is right there. I'll simply say OK, and what's going to happen is that Premiere Pro, based on that location of that one element, Premiere Pro is going to figure out where everything else is. Very, very handy. And you'll see now if I come down, I can actually come down and see all the different footage associated with this lower third. There we go, very nice. But what I want to do now is just set up a new sequence based on the parameters of that first clip from Video Tracks HD that I imported. All I'm going to do is simply select it. We're going to take it, we're going to drag it right down here, and we're just going to drop it onto the Create New Item button. And of course I now have a sequence with the parameters of that clip. I can simply hit play, and there it is, very nice. Okay, so let's get our lower third in here because, you know, that wakeboarder, Kevin P. McAuliffe, he is very awesome and we definitely need a super for him. So what we're going to do is simply come right back up to our project. I'm going to come down to the Shadowing Technique sequence, and all we're basically going to do with this nested sequence is take it, drag it and drop it right down here into our timeline. Now of course I've got video and audio because Premiere wants us to have audio with everything, but what I'm going to do is we're simply going to unlink and we're going to delete this audio track because we don't need it. Now you'll see that our super is way too big. Now why is that? Well, you got to remember I'm working with a 720p HD clip. This is another reason I wanted to show you this technique, because most people, you know, they're working in 1920 by 1080, they drop this in, everything's good to go. But this could very well apply to HD. It could also apply to standard definition as well. All I'm going to do now to get this element to appear up here in the preview window is not double click on it, because by double clicking on it we're actually stepping into the nest that we'd created with that sequence. What I'm going to do is hold Command on the Mac, Control on Windows, and we're going to double click on this clip, and all I'm going to do is just shrink it down here inside of the motion drop down. Right here, scale, let's just drop that down, and I could put it here for 16:9 safe, but I think I'm just going to go with 4:3 safe. Everybody likes everything 4:3 safe these days. Now I could put this down at the bottom, but I think just for the purposes of what we're doing, I'm just going to stick it at the top here, just for kicks. There we go, very nice. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in and we're going to change Ronnie Wills, the chairman of whatever the corporation he is, to be Kevin P. McAuliffe, Grandmaster of Wakeboarding. Why not? I could be a Grandmaster of Wakeboarding. I'd actually have to, you know how to ride a wakeboard, but that's a completely separate topic for a different tutorial. Okay, what we need to do to change this text, a lot of people think we're going to step into this and then we're going to double click on other things. We don't need to do any of that. All we need to do is come right over here to our text drop down, and you'll see that I have the Ronnie Wills name super and the actual title that he has. So what I'm going to do is simply double click on that, and the title tool is going to open up, and of course I'm going to replace Ronnie Wills with K.P. McAuliffe. Why not? We're simply going to close the title tool now. I'm going to do the same thing with Chairman of Signet Inc. What we're going to do again, of course, is we're going to come in, and I am the Wakeboarding Grandmaster. Now you'll see up at the top here that my name has actually appeared in the lower third. What we're going to do is we're just going to close this, and what I need to just double check here, you'll see that I have another nested sequence in here. If I double click on it, you can see that my Wakeboarding Grandmaster super is not exactly where I need it to be. Well, no problem. All I'm going to do is simply select the title, which originally was the Chairman of Signet Inc. I'm just going to select that, and we'll just adjust its position Just like that. Very nice. Now, what's important to keep in mind is that basically what I have now is I have the hierarchy. We basically have our text elements in here in this sequence, and then if we step back one, what we actually have is we have the actual lower third element itself right here. Then if we step back a layer, we have the main sequence that has the lower third in it. So now you can see that my name is actually a little bit farther over than I want it to be. Where I had this position before, it was actually perfectly within safe. So all I'm going to do is simply come back here, and we're just going to move everything over a little bit here. Just like that. We'll select Ronnie Wills. We'll just move him over a little bit too, just to about there. Now, instead of going back through each one, all I have to do is just go back to the main sequence and take a look at that. Now, I could get in, obviously get nitpicky if I wanted to, or what I could do is basically just come right in here. We could select our sequence, double click on it just to make sure that we're actually looking at that, and just even scale this up a little bit now. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Kev, why did you stick this at the top of your timeline? Well, I did it for a reason, not only just to be different. You'll see if I hit play here. There's our element. Fantastic looking. Pretty cool. But what I also wanted to show you is the fact that we can now actually get in and add effects to this. Well, I guess in this case it's an upper third, but we all know it should be a lower third. But I can actually add effects to this element now very quick and very easy. And that's why I actually got in and added this to my timeline as a nested element. All I'm going to do now is simply come to video effects. I'm going to come down to perspective. I'm going to take drop shadow right here, and we're just going to apply it to this element. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up here to the effects control window, and let's just put some distance in this drop shadow just so that you can see it. You can see it right over here. Very cool. I can even darken this up a bit, make it much softer. Let's see if this will actually play back in real time now. I'll just hit play. Pretty darn close. So you can see getting into Premiere and actually coming in, altering your lower third, and even getting in and adding extra plugins, whether they happen to be ones that are included with Premiere or even third-party plugins. You can see that the possibilities with this fantastic product line is really endless. So if you have any questions, you have any comments, or you have any tutorial requests, head on over and post them in the Digital Juice forums. This has been Kevin P. McAuliffe. Thanks a lot for watching.